Hi, my name is Stormy Nelson, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm also the co-founder of Focal Point, a mental health therapy agency that is here in Salt Lake County as well as Utah County.
Hi, my name is Michael Adams. I'm the co-director of the Utah Black Student Union Alliance. I'm also a Check and Connect mentor.
So, Michael, you and I met at a conference 3 years ago, Promising Youth Conference, which is a conference that is for students and for mental health professionals. So, kind of in the same wheelhouse. There were different conversations. We got to know each other more. You got to know what I do as a mental health therapist. And at the time, can you kind of explain like what your role was and currently still is when it comes to students?
At that time, I was just coming into my Check and Connect role as a mentor. That conference served as a training ground for us mentors to develop our program, to continue to improve our program, and to also connect with others in the field and also other professions that intersect with our goal of helping students.
Part of the reason that like I come up to you, which was funny, that when I came up to UNG was initially I was like more Black people, and then went up and started conversations, and here we are today with it. But some of the other work that you do is with the Utah BSU Alliance. So can you talk a little bit about that?
My involvement with the BSU began with students approaching me in my high school about being an advisor for their BSU. At that point, sitting down with them and finding out their needs and things that they would like to do and things that were needed, it opened up the conversation, not only for my students, but looking back at my experience here in Utah and what we needed, what our needs were, and these opportunities were few and far between. So, it's very important now at this particular point in my life, being in that environment. It's important for me to assist those students and guide them and help cultivate a strong BSU culture.
Awesome. Something that I've enjoyed about moving into the private practice space is I have shifted completely like the type of clientele that I was working with. And so a lot of the people that are at our office now are people of color, but a lot of the times Black individuals. And so, I appreciate that it was like through the work that you're doing and through the work that I'm doing that we were able to come together where I get to create or I guess link clients to a social space out in the community, so that they can get more involved in what's happening and really root themselves better into their identity as who they are. And so as you know, it was through some of our conversations that this idea of the Black Mental Health and Education Summit came to be. But I guess what are your thoughts on that and how, your opinion of it and where we are today with it?
Well, I think, one thing from our introduction and having the opportunity to sit down with you and Brandon at that time, it was very positive. And really, our conversation sparked, a lot of feelings and thoughts of what can we do? How can we collaborate? How can we come together? And, when you're in those spaces, that opportunity is not always present. You really have to be intentional about meeting people. And, it was easy for me to connect with you and Brandon. And I felt that sometime down the line, we should certainly work together. I really believe that when we started with the BSU, we started thinking about how can we incorporate and bring in others in our community to help serve our young people, not just educators, but those who wish to serve and who want to connect. And I think, especially with mental health and with education, we intersect at various points.
For sure.
Yes.
Like we are the ones, like as mental health, like Black clinicians in our community, right? We're the ones that have all these Black youth in our offices. And all of you guys, like Black educators, also are in charge of and oversee Black youth at your schools or in the district. And there's just such a need there where it's like there needs to be more advocacy for them. They're so bright and have a lot to offer, and it needs to be fostered. And I think that that's the goal of both of us that we both share is like fostering that with these kids. So, what are some of the things that we kind of outlined to expect at the summit?
Well, I believe that first and foremost, something that you mentioned was our collaboration. The Black Hair, Black Minds event that you put on, it was a wonderful event, a beautiful event. That was a catalyst for what I believe are a lot of the different events that take place now. They don't have to be similar in scope or nature, but the fact that we're bringing together and putting in the same space people who are intentional about focusing on the needs of Black people. And so I think that's very, yeah, I believe that this matters because, our students, we have some amazing students, brilliant students. And in many of these situations in their environments, those things aren't always cultivated and nurtured. And I think that, it's incumbent upon us that we reach out to students and find out how they're doing. We do have students that are dealing with challenges. Not only that, living here in Utah, it is very necessary to connect with people. And we are not in a densely populated area for Black people. So it's necessary for us to reach out to one another. It's very necessary for us to reach out to one another. So, at this summit, we hope to engage people and speak to them in a way where it is impressed upon them the importance of connecting, creating community, reaching out to our students, reaching out to their families, and helping to bridge gaps and also connect with others in the profession. We have many in the educational profession that are not acquainted with one another. And we think that that's very important. I think you guys have done a wonderful job in the mental health field of connecting with each other with some of your events and just your networking. And so, there are, many things that I think that this summit will provide for people. So really encouraging everyone to take advantage of this.
Yes, no, and I'm excited for it. Like I said, we are the ones that are working with our students all day long, but we also know like the burnout that it comes with the profession sometimes, where it's like you want to do so much and there's just not time and there's not energy. And that's where I'm like, we heal in community, we network together, we are better together, stronger together. And so if we can have these conversations with everybody and hopefully empower the educators and empower these mental health professionals a little bit more, where they feel like they can advocate for our students, or at least know that they have support in their efforts from the rest of us. That's the hope. That's the takeaway.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Stormy. Empowering folks, empowering people to really believe that they can make a difference.
Yeah.
And on a larger scale, I mean, it starts with one student at a time, but it also starts with just making those connections with others. And I believe that this is an opportunity with this summit to empower people. It's our hope and our mission to have Black educators and Black mental health therapists believe that their impact is far reaching, not only with students or clients in their offices and schools, but also in the community. We have the ability to affect our community in a positive way. And I'm hoping that this summit encourages people to do that.
Yes, for sure. Empowerment is definitely the piece. And we are living in very interesting times. There is a lot of House bills and other things that keep getting passed and put forward that do affect our students and do affect our educators. And, at the moment, knock on wood, don't affect our mental health professionals, but we're in this together, and like I said, we are greater together. And so, I don't know, this is going to be a space to kind of talk about these things, talk about the barriers that are there in place and find ways to not maneuver around them, but empower each other so that we feel like that we still have power despite, bills being signed into law.
Right. And, I truly believe, and I know this, that our power is immense. And, one thing that is extremely important that we all understand is regardless of bills being passed, things being put in place as obstacles being placed in our way, it is very important that we understand that part of our history is moving through and overcoming things that are placed in our way to deter us, to detract us, to stop us. It has been shown that our history that we cannot be stopped when, as a collective, we come together and work for the greater good.
Yep.
And so, this is an opportunity for, once again, for, folks to come together, understand that, acknowledge that, and we are powerful together, as you mentioned, and I appreciate you saying that. And it is important that we continue to think that way, that we have a community mindset and that we operate out of a community mindset. And our young people are looking to us and they're looking at us.
Mhm.
And, as professionals, as adults, as parents, it's important that we show unity, we show solidarity, and with the understanding of, that is something historically that has moved us forward.
Mm.
So, this is once again a great opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you. So we have had a lot of great donors and people ready to help support just this initiative as we move forward and create this community space for our professionals. So we encourage you to register. You can go to focalpointout.com/summit, or you can find other links through Eventbrite, typing in Black Mental Health and Education Summit for Utah. And we hope to see you there.